son. Where'd you find this?
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
A few moments later.
You are now listening to Podcast 42, the world's most popular, inaccurate, and sometimes squirreled retelling of pop culture history.
When everybody's running, they're all sweaty, and the people on the sides who are like, yeah, let's high five, and everybody's high fiving them. It's like, I don't want to touch your hand. You touch like a million sweaty hands.
A million sweaty hands.
But
that could be a great name for an album.
That's the name of my rock and roll band.
But I was wearing gloves, so it wasn't so bad. Well, I'm going to wash the gloves.
Well, speaking of sweaty gloves, it's time for Podcast 42.
Yes, what we're known for.
Who are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Nicole Fasone.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I think she forgot who she was there for a second.
I'm someone.
Who?
I'm a British guy.
We know. Okay.
I once told him that everyone refers to him as the British guy.
Yeah.
So now he's taken on that persona. I'm Christopher DeVos, not the British guy.
And I'm not the British guy either, so I'm JL Trails.
I'm the token girl in the room.
You're not Gary. You can't have that. Yeah, you can't be.
I'm the token half Jew. See?
Okay.
We can make it work.
What's the other half?
Italian. Catholic. Roman Catholic. Roman Catholic.
That's a religion now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jewish is a religion and like a people, so
Exactly.
it's tough. It's tough. You guys need to pick a category.
I'm sorry. Well, I would always call myself the pizza bagel. You know, a little of both.
Oh, those are horrible. Don't call yourself that. They get all
I love
hard in the
pizza
microwave.
Bagels. Actually,
No.
I have some fresh bagels in the freezer if anybody wants some.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Anyone
I
listening
may
to the
refer
podcast?
to her as Pizza Bagel from now on.
The whole audience would like pizza bagels.
Yes, Pizza Bagels delivered by Nicole.
Well,
Only
before
for
we
those
get into the pizza bagels, let's open up JL's beer cooler.
Drink some beer!
All right, what do we got? I'm excited, actually.
Yes, it was a nice request for Erdinger Dunkel. Nice German beer. A little darker. It's pretty good.
This is the first beer in some, I don't know, this might be episode like 43 or 44, I don't know. But this is the first beer I've had before.
Really?
Yeah. Milestone for me.
This is actually my father's favorite beer, so he's actually really excited that we're going to rank it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I give it a 1.
What?
No.
You can't say that. That was my line later on.
Save it for the end.
Pissed them off my whole life. Why should I stop now?
Stay tuned for the end of the show for the ranking. Because right now we're going to talk about Bob's Burgers.
Yay!
As requested by Nicole.
Yay.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Bob's Burgers? You didn't do any research for the show? Slacker.
Yes, I did my research on H. John Benjamin, and I did an Archer marathon.
Okay.
Have you really never seen Bob's Burgers?
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, I was going to say.
It's become my dog's new favorite show.
Her
The dog
dog's
likes
favorite
Bob Burgers.
show?
Yeah, because he just, if you put it on, he'll chill out on the couch and watch Bob's
Come on,
Burgers.
everybody, like, at Thanksgiving time, it's when the all the things come out for the turkey song.
Pass the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes. Ooh, the turkey looks great. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being... That one.
Yeah.
That song.
I
It's
think that's
great. It's
not
classic.
copyrighted.
That's okay. We can sing it. We just can't play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Linda's the best. They're all amazing.
No
it's
way.
such a good show.
As you can tell, Nicole hates this show.
Yes.
She's going to be sleeping
My whole
through the whole
Christmas
thing.
did not revolve around Bob's Burgers.
Well, how many Bob's Burgers gifts did you get for Christmas, Nicole?
Let's see. I got the necklace, the cookbook, the coloring book, something else. The puzzle. The puzzle I'm really excited for. And it's funny because all of these things have the different storefronts, and the storefronts are different in every episode, so they're all very punny.
I actually had the puzzle for you until I saw the Snapchat.
That I got it from James.
Mm-hmm.
James, way to Krampus style.
Thanks, James.
Sorry. That was bought in November.
I'm so
I
excited.
looked at it in November, but I didn't buy it.
It was actually almost bought for her birthday, but, you know, it's been in my wish list for a while. So Nicole.
I love
So
it.
your favorite was the coloring book, right?
The coloring book I'm very excited for, yes.
Not the puzzle?
I'm very excited for the puzzle and the cookbook. You guys are excited for the cookbook too, aren't you?
I was today.
Well, we were supposed to be today because you were supposed to be doing burgers
I was, and
in celebration of this episode.
She did a lot of running,
I did a lot of running,
just not to the store.
and taking people to the airport and resting, and I just didn't get them done. I'm sorry, but I will rain check you and make you burgers at a future time. I
Okay.
In a
promise.
future episode, we're
From
not
the
talking
book.
about burgers.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
From the book.
From the book? Yeah.
From the Bob's Burgers book.
Yeah.
The Bob's Burgers book.
All right, well, let's get into it. You should probably, to really understand a lot of this script, you should probably have had to seen the show. If you haven't seen the show,
Pause and go watch an episode,
go
then
watch
come
an
back.
episode, then come back. Because you only really need one episode to get the gist of Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
And you can pick any episode you want.
No, I will tell you the perfect episodes.
Oh, boy.
There are 2 episodes that
I knew this was coming.
How could you not? Okay, so
Wait till we do a heavy metal episode.
season 4, Seaplane, which is episode 3. That one is great. I also like season 3, episode 7, Tyrannosaurus Rex. That one's very good. And season 3, episode 5, An Indecent Thanksgiving Proposal. Those are good starter episodes, so you kind of get the good feel of the show and what it's supposed to be.
Okay, well,
So,
it's currently on Hulu, so you can pick out those individual episodes pretty easily.
yes.
Until net neutrality comes into effect.
That happened right now.
So, Bob's Burgers is an animated sitcom created by Loren Bouchard. It premiered on Fox on January 9th, 2011. The show centers on the Belchers, parents Bob and Linda, and their children Tina, Jean, and Louise, and they all run a hamburger restaurant. Side note, the daughters Tina and Louise are named for actress Tina Louise, best known as Ginger on Gilligan's Island.
I didn't know that.
Fun fact.
You're going to learn a lot.
The more
Lots
you
of
know.
fun facts. I'm excited.
Loren Bouchard was a high school dropout and was working as a bartender in 1993 when he bumped into a former grade school teacher of his, Tom Snyder. Snyder asked Bouchard if he was still drawing. Interesting thing about this is that Bouchard has admitted he is not a very good artist. He has stated that over the years he has learned to draw and undraw several times. The first time Bouchard really wanted to draw was when he was 8 years old. He went to the zoo and saw a polar bear. He went home and started filling notebooks full of drawings. After working with other artists over the years, Bouchard figured that he would better be served as writer and creative director on his projects over being an artist.
Tom Schneider offered them the chance to work on a few animated short films that Schneider was producing. The shorts developed into Bouchard's first series, Dr. Kat's Professional Therapist, which I've never seen. And he also produced that one as well. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
The animation was very shaky.
Ah, makes sense, because he wasn't a good drawer.
Did they do a Family Guy thing about it? They probably did a cutaway about that. It sounds familiar. We had like the really shaky outlines, and Brian was like, "What's going on with you?" And he's like, "I appear to be having some kind of stroke."
Yes,
Yes.
The show was computer animated with the software Squiggle Vision, which
There
I
we
think
go.
is the best name for a software ever. Squiggle Vision used a technique in which all persons and animated objects are colored and have constantly squiggly outlines, hence why they look squiggly. While the inanimate object,
Inanimate.
Yes, while the inanimate objects are static and grey in color. The show starred John Katz, H. John Benjamin, who kind of is important to this whole thing, and Laura Silverman. Dr. Katz run for 6 seasons from 1995 to 2000.
Now, here's the interesting thing about Dr. Katz, is they took comedians' stand-up and they interlaced that into the show where Dr. Katz would analyze the patients, but it was actually shorts from comedians talking. But that Squiggle Vision thing is horrible. I can't watch any animation done in this Squiggle Vision thing. It ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
It is terrible.
I'm just happy you got your mispronunciation out of the way right away.
Yeah, get it done in the first paragraph.
There you go.
Let's
First paragraph, done. We're good for the rest of the show. After Dr. Katz, Bouchard teamed up with Brandon Small to create home movies. Brandon Small would later go on to create Metalocalypse, which centered on the virtual death metal band Death Clock. Who watched that show?
Yep.
Yes, because it wasn't in Squiggle Vision.
I saw it a couple of episodes just because the guy I was dating at the time really liked it.
Adult Swim.
He was into metal
It's
bands.
a great show. Great show.
Sure.
Home Movies was about an 8-year-old aspiring filmmaker, Brandon Small, who makes videos with his friends Melissa Robbins and Jason Panopoulos. He lived with his divorced mother, Paula, and his adopted baby brother, Josie, or sister. Wow. Develops a skewed father-son-like relationship with his alcoholic, short-tempered soccer coach, John McGurk, played by H. John Benjamin.
Never heard of him.
What? Home Movies premiered on UPN on April 26, 1999. UPN canceled the series only after 5 episodes. Cartoon Network purchased the right to the series and premiered as first program on their nighttime adult-oriented Adult Swim on the night of the launch on September 2nd, 2001. The series ended on April 4th, 2004 with a total of 52 episodes over the course of 4 seasons. Home Movies developed a cult following during its run, and in 2009, the series was placed on IGN's top 100 best animated TV shows list.
Now, this was a Squiggle Vision one too, but it wasn't as bad as Dr. Katz.
It wasn't as squiggly as Dr. Katz.
I never heard of it. I never heard of Home Movies.
Nor have I. I'm going to have to do some research afterwards.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're both good. It's just don't watch the animation. Just
McGurk
listen
is the
to
best
it.
part of the entire show.
Well, yeah, it's
McGurk
H.
the
John
dog-
Benjamin.
Is that the dog?
Coach McGurk.
Oh, I thought
Not
you
McGruff, the crime dog.
No, I was like, McGurk's.
That's who needs to make a comeback.
After Home Movies concluded, Bouchard created Saddle Rash, not Saddle Rush. Saddle Rush is actually the name of my rock and roll band.
Saddle Rush.
And a porno he starred in earlier in life.
We are a Rush cover band. Tom Sawyer.
A country Rush band.
Saddle Rash was based in a small town in the Old West and narrated by an Old Press Spectre-type character named Gummy, played by H. John Benjamin. The episode begins with an armless gunslinger named Slim. Slim was in town for the purpose of revenge against Tommy Morgan, who was also voiced by Benjamin. Morgan had been hiding in the hills due to a $1,000 bounty on his head. While Slim is in town, Hannah Headstrong, played by Sarah Silverman, the daughter of a rancher in town, falls in love with him. The show never made it past the pilot episode.
That's a shame because it sounded really cool.
I know.
No.
Now I want to see it.
It's on YouTube, and it's terrible. It is.
I know what I'm watching after this.
Dr. Katz good. Home Movies good. Bob's Burgers good. Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil's good, which we're going to learn about next. But this one, you can watch it, but it's not that great.
Actually, so Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil, was written and directed by Bouchard and produced by Bouchard, Seth Green, and Josh Pizzas. Pizzas. I don't know.
Pizzas.
Josh something.
Let's go pizzas.
The pilot episode, he is not the Messiah, he's a DJ, which I think they ripped off of Monty Python. He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy. First aired on October 30th, 2005, but wasn't officially picked up until nearly 2 years later, in September 2007. The show had black bars on top and bottom of the screen, and sometimes characters and shots would appear behind the black bars.
Weird.
Then, in 2009, Bouchard got together with King of the Hill writer and producer Jim Daugherty.
Who knows?
Yeah, and developed Bob's Burgers. When asked of Bouchard what inspired Bob's Burgers, he said that he loved families that run restaurants. He has always been fascinated by when you walk into a pizza place or a little Greek restaurant and there's a kid behind the counter mopping up or wrapping up a sandwich to go. Fox at the time was looking for a show about a family, which is what they do, sort of like The Simpsons or, Nicole's other favorite show, Family Guy. So Bouchard combined their family requirement with a workplace comedy.
So for character inspiration, Bouchard already had in mind who he wanted to be in the show.
No
So
way.
huh?
I'm going to take a wild guess.
Yes. So he created the
I have no
characters.
idea.
He created the characters to fit the actors. H. John Benjamin is Bob, the
Stop.
lead.
No way.
No way. Where did his name come from? I've never heard of him before. It's interesting to note here, Loren Bouchard has never worked on a project without H. John Benjamin. John Roberts as Linda Belcher. John's Linda was discovered from his YouTube channel where he had a character that was an imitation of his mother, and Bouchard thought it would be perfect for the show. Dan Mintz was originally supposed to play the other brother, Daniel, but producers and writers felt that the character was too bland and changed it to Tina. They kept Dan Mintz as the voice, even though Dan had his doubts because he said that he could not do a girl's voice. It took me a long time to find out that Tina was actually a man
Yeah.
voicing her, but it
And was a
works-
man in the first drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the whole cast is almost all men.
Yeah.
yeah, the only one that's female is actually Louise, but we'll get to that. So Dan had his doubts that he couldn't do a girl's voice, but they told Dan to keep the voice he planned because they thought it would pass as an awkward teenager's puberty voice for a girl. You know, kind of not there yet. Eugene Meerman was Jean, and Kristen Schaal was Louise Belcher. So she's the only female that plays a female in the leads of the cast.
And she is basically the only female, period, on the show because Bob's Burgers does live reads all the time. You can go watch them read a script. And even minor characters that are girls tend to be guys. They're
Yeah, but
guys.
not all of them because, Sarah Silverman plays one of the twins.
Not counting the guest hosts or
Okay.
the guest people.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
The
the leads.
actual staff of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, the leads.
Even the minor leads, like The Simpsons has other people on the show. They're not like the big people, but they're still the people that are
Like
on there.
Hank Azaria.
Yes.
He's not one of the major characters, and he voices so many different people.
Yeah.
Then you had like some of the other ones, like I can't think of some of the other ones' names who aren't major on The Simpsons.
Harry Shearer.
Harry Shearer.
Yeah, so Bob's Burgers has that too. I don't know the actors' names, but they have people that just come in and do recurring characters, not guest stars,
Yes.
and they're all guys. It's
Cool
crazy.
beans.
And cool. It's crazy cool. Something interesting to note is the cast records their dialogue together for every episode, which is unusual for a lot of animation. Really is, because if you go to YouTube and watch, I think only South Park does it too. Everybody else, you just go, Homer Simpson, he goes in and reads his lines by himself in a booth and then goes home.
It was like the Emoji Movie that I brought up. You could really tell it was done like that.
That they all just
Yeah.
did it separately.
There was no interaction between any of them. They
there
were
was
just
no
saying
like,
their
yeah.
lines.
Where obviously, probably after The Simpsons has been airing for 3,000 years, they're probably pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of overlap with Bob's Burgers and the kind of, I'm sure the body language and the smiles must crack them up to be able to get the good lines out.
I'm sure there's plenty of improv too. That happens a lot.
Actually, yes. Foreshadowing.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's good.
Whoops.
Bouchard feels that the chemistry of everyone working off each other and the fact that everyone is a comedian helps the dynamic of the dialogue to be better. Often improvised dialogue will make it into the show.
That's what we said.
That's
Yes.
what I just said. No way.
Yes. Well, that's
I
good.
didn't even read that, and I just assumed that that's
And you
what...
can tell he does that in all his shows, I think, because I watched home movies while doing some research on this, and I watched The Saddle Rush, and the more you listen to it, you're like, that's not scripted. They're going off the cuff.
Like when Linda says, Mama doesn't get drunk, she just has fun. That's what Linda says, because she's the best.
So to pitch the show to the Fox networks, the creators of the show made a rough 3-minute demo. It was a scene of Bob and Linda and they're grinding in meat for burgers, and Bob's forgets their wedding anniversary. The scene made it into the actual show, except the Belchers, because it's Belchers.
Belchers.
I want to say bleachers, which is not a word I ever use in my everyday language, because we don't have bleachers in England.
Weird.
What do
know.
you sit on at a football game?
A stand?
You sit on a stand?
Yeah, it's the stand.
What do you
got
stand on?
the stand? Not the bleachers. They're not called bleachers. I know.
Now where that joke was going the whole way.
So the Belchers were originally a family of cannibals, which would have been hilarious. Bob's Burgers are cannibals. They were so
I don't know if it would have
And
been
then
as
the show would be on
successful.
Adult Swim and not Fox.
Yeah.
making burgers out of their flesh. Their victim, Sweeney Todd-esque. That would have been really cool. Fox found the idea of cannibalism too dark. That's a surprise. For an animated sitcom, and was taken out. It did inspire the plot of the first episode where the family is accused by the health inspectors of being cannibals.
I remember that.
Remember that, why?
It's just one of those things
She just
that I read
watched
about
it.
the entire time.
This fun fact about Nicole, she watches 2 things, The Office on reruns and Bob's Burgers over and over again. She knows every line from every episode.
I do.
Okay. I thought maybe you had some stunning revelation.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I just remember that was part of one of the original concepts that they had for the show.
Like the talking toilet.
And it's in, yeah. Oh, that was really cool. That was
Like
a funny
what?
episode. It's another episode.
Oh, yeah, that's
where
in here.
Gene, yeah, okay.
That's in here.
We'll go over it later then.
See, I knew if I could just say the most random thing and you would just be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
You should have just made up like episode titles, like and put index cards here, and we just set them and just let Nicole do the whole thing.
It
Oh,
would've
we
been
could have
like-
played the Bob's Burgers game where we make up episodes and have real episodes and see if she could figure out.
Ooh, we should do
We
that.
could have done that.
We'll do
Well,
that.
if this winds up being a 2-parter, then maybe we will.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because in 2010, Fox put the series on. A special preview aired on Thanksgiving on November 25th, 2010. However, when the series first premiered, it received mixed reviews. As the second season began, the show began getting serious accolades.
That usually happens. The first season for most shows are just okay, and when the second season comes around, that's when it really starts to pick up steam.
Not always. I mean, sometimes with Fox, it depends when they air the first episode, too. The first episode of Family Guy, I think, aired after the World Series. And this is airing at Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving.
So it's in that mix of, are you really going to get people to watch?
I mean, it definitely varies, but I know, like, the first season of The Office probably mirrored the original UK version
completely,
a lot.
100%.
Exactly. So it kind of was slow for most Americans. So when they saw the first season, it was like, okay, but the second, third season is where it really picked up.
Well,
so.
people watched it. It's just the critics were like, they didn't say it was bad.
But they didn't say it was great either.
They didn't say it was great. It was no Simpsons Family Guy.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't the worst thing on TV. It was just, yeah, that's okay. That's good.
Yeah, cool.
The show is thought to be the spiritual successor to King of the Hill, but carried less emphasis on shock comedy and focused more on character-driven humor.
Bob's Burgers takes place in a hamburger restaurant on Ocean Avenue and is rumored to take place in a seaside community known as Seymour's Bay. However, Seymour's Bay is actually the nickname of the room that the show's editor, Mark Seymour, works in. Loren Bouchard has stated that the show's location is a generic northeastern United States shore town. After the episode, It Snakes a Village, many have deduced that the unidentified setting appears to actually be in southern New Jersey.
Yeah, because they have a boardwalk, right?
Yes, they do. It's the wharf.
And it's funny because they do the thing where they go and play on the beach, and there's always like chemicals and like washed up like syringes and stuff.
And they actually showed an episode where they were traveling to Florida to visit Linda's parents, and because they were retired down here, and her parents wind up being swingers in a retirement community, the Villages maybe, and it does show
Which is
them
here in Florida,
It
real
does
place.
show them coming from New Jersey down to Florida. So
And anything you hear about the Villages is probably true.
it's all true.
It is true.
Yeah, once got really drunk in the Villages because some old guy kept on buying me shots.
I wonder what he was trying to get out of you.
And you woke up in Grandma's bed. Not your grandma, just a grandma.
No, I got driven home. It was a great day out.
No, we're going with you woke up in Grandma's bed. That's a better
Yeah,
story.
that's a better story.
True or not, it's still a better story.
And Grandma was christened a wig.
It's an even better story. Bob competes with several other eateries for business. His biggest rival is Jimmy Pesto's Pizzeria, which is located across the street. It's usually busier than Bob's, creating tension between the two owners. Jimmy's great joy is in humiliating Bob. Favorite example being when he got a higher score on an arcade machine than Bob, who had rented the game, and taunted him by putting Bob Sucks as his initials.
It's a good episode.
To add to the drama, Tina is obsessed with Pesto's son, Jimmy Jr. We do not know how Jimmy Jr. feels towards Tina, although he always tries to get her back when she strays. Jimmy Jr. approves of Tina's erotic friend fiction, starring himself and Bad Tina. Jimmy Jr. tends to forget they are dating because he is always occupied with activities such as spending time with his best friend and wrestling buddy Zeke and dancing by himself.
I like dancing by myself.
I have an erotic friend fiction coffee mug from James, and it's great. It's heat activated, so it's black, and it just shows Tina, but then when you put coffee in it, it heats up, and you see that it says erotic friend fiction.
Oh, cool.
She's the easiest person
So while
to buy
it's heating
presents
up,
for.
do you go dancing with yourself?
Yes.
Oh.
Bob's Restaurant seems to find its fair share of bad luck. For example, in the pilot episode, the property falls victim to a fire, an infestation of vermin, and a broken front window caused by a car knocking down a utility pole. But in spite of all this, Bob does tend to have a small but loyal group of regular customers, including Teddy, one of my favorites, who the local handyman. Teddy is inspired to be very talkative from basically Bouchard's personally life. I'm going to say that again.
Because
Teddy is inspired by a very talkative handyman from Bouchard's personal life.
Teddy is like a fan favorite of so many people.
He's awesome.
And it's great. He's a hoarder. When they go to his apartment and he's a hoarder.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the newest episodes when his family is coming over for Thanksgiving. So he's like, I don't want them to come over. So he has the Belchers come over to help him clean up his apartment, and they find out he's a hoarder. So they start helping him clean out all of his stuff, and he's freaking out because they put it all into a dumpster. And then he wants to live down in his dumpster because that's where all of his stuff is.
Do you remember something? My roommate's a hoarder. I found the secret bag of Splenda today.
Oh, yeah?
And it's
I saw that bag.
Yeah. She's just been stealing Splenda from every restaurant she ever goes to.
I am
couldn't
not.
believe it when
I
I
had
saw
bought it
that
at one
bag.
time from BJ's or Costco. I can't remember which one.
You're a
And
secret Splenda hoarder.
That's not true. She just spent the 4 days with us at a resort so she could go running for 4 days, and I saw her leave with at least 2 pockets full of Splenda.
There we
You
go.
know, I know a lot
Liar.
of people who steal Splenda because it's expensive.
I steal napkins.
So she admits to it.
And
Napkins are expensive. I just need them for my car. Every time I go to Starbucks,
Oh, well,
I just
everybody
grab a
does
handful.
that.
So that's not a bad thing then.
Well, nobody said that, but everybody does that.
You need napkins for your car.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very
I don't know.
sensitive car. It cries a lot.
You don't have napkins in your car?
Sure.
I have wet wipes.
I have napkins in my car. You never know when you need a napkin.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. You just grab a couple extra. Not like the
Fist
whole
bumps.
thing.
You take the whole pack out of the thing.
The whole container where you just grab one at a time. I took the whole container.
Yeah.
I put it on top of the car. And everyone loves my car. When it's in the parking lot and you need a napkin, you just go to my car and you grab one. It's bolted to the hood.
Because his car is shaped like a napkin holder, so they just pull it through the window.
Yeah.
The restaurant is located in a green 2-story building, which features an apartment on the 2nd floor where Bob and the family live. The restaurant is sandwiched between 2 other buildings. It's your funeral home and crematorium, owned by Mort, who is also a regular at the restaurant. Mort is French for dead, by the way. Oh, learn something new every day, Chris.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The other building, often referred to as the store next door, is generally vacant during most episodes, but has been home to such businesses as Uncle Marty's Breast Pumps, Flip Your Wig reversible hair pieces.
I would love that to be a real store. That sounds like an awesome concept.
That's a doorbell, doorbells. Oh, yes. Talk
That's
to the
a-
hand glove store.
Wait. That's a doorbell.
Oh, you
have to
did read
read
it
it right.
wrong.
That's a doorbell.
Oh.
They're all punny. You have to read them right to get the puns.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're actually talking about something you know about for once. So, back to me. Talk to the hand glove store. Meth I Can, Methadone Clinic, synthesizers.
Gene's favorite store.
Yeah, that was the bullshit episode.
Rocky Refuge, Raccoon Sanctuary, and the best store ever, Magnum GI Colonoscopies.
Some of these are so funny. Like the puzzle that I have has its own personal storefront listed on it. It's a puzzle pun. I can't remember what it is. Off the
Frame your.
It's puzzling.
It's a frame the picture store. It's a frame the pictures.
Yeah.
It's
And then
Inception.
the cookbook, the inside of the front cover has one for the start of the cookbook, and the back cover has one for the ending of the cookbook. So they are very creative with their puns in this show. They work very hard at it. Most of these things are visible during the opening. Also during the opening, Jimmy Pesto is standing across the street with his hands on his hips, watching the intro as we see it, and probably disapproving of the whole thing. You can see his reflection in the car window of the exterminator van that pulls up. I never noticed that. Did you ever notice that?
No.
No?
Nope. I read this, and I'm like, they have to have made that up. So I watched it on YouTube, and it's there.
It's there.
It is super quick, but it's actually there.
I'm so excited to go and watch that and tell my best friend. Bob's Burgers has several other running gags as well. One being the pest control truck, as Chris just mentioned, often represented by a Ford, what is that? Econoline commercial van, and is seen during the opening sequence of every Bob's Burgers episode. Between the grand reopening and the grand re-reopening, the truck that pulls up in front of Bob's Burgers is accompanied by numerous raccoons, squirrels, rats, and snakes. It's similar to the store next door, as the company named on the truck changes. This happens only after the first season. Here's a few examples. Rats All Folks, Exterminators, Stan Berman, King of Vermin, The Pest Pesterer, Ratty Shack,
Say that 15 times.
Pesterer.
Chester the Depester, No Mice Girls, The Vermin Surgeon, and How the Pest Was Won.
When you're done listening to this, here is something else you can sink your ear holes into.
Hey, this is Jeff.
And Richard.
And Michael from Mount Rushmore.
But not the actual Mount Rushmore, like the monument, because that'd be weird. No, we mean the Mount Rushmore podcast.
Every week, Richard and I debate what belongs on the Mount Rushmore of any topic. It might be the Mount Rushmore of fake Elvises, or something weighty and important.
Like the Mount Rushmore of jackets.
And when they're done, I judge them and decide whose choices were right and mainly whose choices were wrong.
With more than 100 episodes of nonsense, you'll find a topic that, you actually care about.
Especially if you feel strongly about jackets.
Or grandmothers.
Or IKEA.
Canadians.
See, listen, this is what I have to deal with. Check us out wherever you find your favorite podcasts, or check us out at mtrushmore.com.
The burger of the day is another one of the running gags. It refers to the various puns and wordplay featured as the special burgers in just about every episode. Bob and Louise are the creative minds behind these pundiful burger titles. Bob's offerings are usually family-friendly, while Louise's, when she's able to sneak them on the board, are usually and completely inappropriate. Burger of the day specials are bargain priced at $5.95, and that does seem like a bargain price. My gosh. You shouldn't open a burger place in Orlando. We charge like double that for a special. Here are a few examples of the burger of the day. The child molester comes with candy. Mission accomplished burger. Mission accomplished burger. It's supposed to be mission accomplished pun.
Yes, we get the pun.
I know, but am I saying it right?
Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Yes.
But it comes with corn salsa. Pepper Don't Preach burger. Rest in Peas burger. The Roquefort Files burger. Olive and Let Die burger. Thank God it's fried egg burger.
Like Friday.
This is my favorite one. Crowded House burger. Crowded House burger. I didn't say it right, but that was my favorite one.
This is my favorite coming up.
Papaya was a Rolling Stone burger. Chorizo Your Own Adventure burger. Weekend at Bernays burger.
When I was reading all of the names out of the cookbook and I kept on saying burger after every one, I felt I was being annoying.
Burger.
But you have to say burger after every one.
Burger?
Yeah, burger.
Bob's Burgers. Side note, there has been a couple of episodes without a burger of the day.
Just shocking. So yes, as I said, James gave me the cookbook with the Bob's Burgers. So a lot of the ones that you'll see featured in the show, they actually came up with a cookbook that listed all of them. Is that in this? Is that in any of this? No?
No.
So they made a real cookbook for made-up burgers with actual recipes for all of these burgers. And the dialogue and the phrasing of all the descriptions in this book are so funny and just so true to the show, which is what makes it an amazing, amazing book.
And every one of these cookbooks that is sold, Nicole gets a kickback on it. So
25.
Which is
if you're
why
wondering why
she keeps
she's
mentioning it every
Cookbook.
2 minutes.
The last running gag in the end credits sequence. The end credits consist of a scene usually involving Bob and the family at work, but sometimes take place elsewhere. Elements from the episode reappear during these scenes, like songs, characters, and additional scenes. An example of this is in an episode titled The Belchies, a remake of Cyndi Lauper's The Goonies Are Good Enough, titled Taffy Butt, with new lyrics.
James, do you know this song?
I don't.
You don't know Cyndi Lauper's The Goonies Are Good
No,
Enough?
can you sing it for me?
No.
With the new lyrics?
No, I'll sing it with the new lyrics, but I just need to know the general tune. But can I?
So does that mean you've never seen The Goonies?
No, I've seen the Goonies, but
I've
I don't
seen the
remember.
Goonies, but I don't think I know the
It's
song.
the song that's played during the most deleted. I believe it's a deleted scene in the movie.
Well, then how are we supposed
It's
to know it if the
octopus
scene's
scene where they
deleted?
take Data's Walkman and put it in the octopus's mouth.
No, never seen that scene.
Well, how does the tune go?
JL, you should probably
You can just
sing
hum
this.
it.
No,
Come
I'm gonna
on.
see.
Nope.
Teddy was right about the treasure in the bud. The next day you will see Taffy's washed up on the beach. And oh my God, is that a gold bar? The wave just washed him out far. The kids didn't look close enough in the taffy bud. You have the taffy bud. There's treasure in that bud. I want that taffy bud.
Bud. I wish you had a synthesizer so you could have done the full Gene impression.
Well, I guess I'll have to look it up on YouTube.
I know. During the song, though, Jimmy Jr. enters the kitchen dancing wildly. He leaps out of the kitchen and onto the ground floor of McCaffrey's Taffy Factory. Soon, Tina appears and proceeds to dance with him. Loren Bouchard believes that music and animation work really well together and looks for opportunities to include songs in every episode. The Belcher kids and their friends attend Wagstaff Middle School, which is named for Professor Quincy Adams Wagstaff, the character played by Groucho Marx in the movie Horse Feathers in 1933. 32. And in turn, Louise's nemesis, Logan, attends Huxley High School, which takes its name from Huxley University, over which Professor Wagstaff presided. Oh, hey, Chris, you want to break down some of the characters?
Nope.
No?
Let Nicole do it.
I'll start. All right. So, Robert Bob Belcher Jr. Jr., very important. He's voiced by H. John Benjamin. He is a third-generation restaurateur. Bob runs Bob's Burgers with the help of his wife, Linda, and their 3 kids, Tina, Jean, and Louise, which we went over before. He has poor management skills and cursed luck. His experience and skill in homemade cuisine helps keep the restaurant in business. And Bob was born to an unnamed mother and his father named Big Bob. Sometime in Bob's childhood, his mother passed away. Bob's mom had a brother named Ernest Lombard who ran Lombard's department store before the mall opened and put it out of business. I will just say, I love all of the characters in the show, and I know it's like kind of a random thing to say, but Bob is such a fantastic father. If you just watch everything that he does for his kids and how he acts towards his kids, you have to love Bob. Sometimes you hate the main character of shows, but in this show I really do love the main character, the lead. Throwing that out there.
Okay. We had no doubt.
Yeah. Do you love Bob?
I love Bob.
Do you love Bob?
Bob
I
is
was really
great.
starting to question it.
Do you
though.
love Bob?
I love Bob.
Are you a taffy butt?
I'm not a taffy butt.
That's not what it said on the internet.
Where did you look on the internet?
You don't want to know? Deep
like
dark
to
web.
know.
Nicole is a taffy butt.
It's everywhere. Reddit. His father had a drinking problem and ran a restaurant called Big Bob's Diner. Bob was rarely allowed outside, and whenever he got distracted, his father would always tell him, "Get back to work, Bob." His father never smiled. One day, while Big Bob was getting his prostate checked, Bob was manning the grill and made a burger for Henry, who was pleasantly surprised, but then Bob's father showed up. He got mad at Bob and threw away his burger.
Baby, you could chive my car burger. Sorry.
Is that what it was?
Yes, that's what it was.
See, she knows everything.
I know. When Bob grew up, he left his dad and started his own restaurant. He met Linda in a bar after she accidentally stabbed him in his upper lip with her engagement ring from her then-fiancé, Hugo. The couple got married at City Hall.
Bob is a fairly tall standing 6 foot and slightly overweight. He has lots of body hair, just like his father. He has a receding hairline and visible bald spot.
So he has lots of hair, but receding hair.
On his head.
Okay, go on.
I think that's clear. For most
Yes.
guys know that.
I know.
I have a receding hairline, but I have lots of hair.
I was just pointing out. It's funny.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you just ruined everything.
I didn't ruin everything.
Such a taffy butt.
I'm turning this show around if you guys don't stop.
Leave Pizza Bagel alone.
He sports his signature mustache that might be receding, which ultimately won the affection of his wife. He is not...
Chris is fired.
I guess we know who's buying beer next.
Yay.
Go ahead.
He has no known ears.
Was that Katy Perry?
Yes. No.
No, that was Imagine Dragons.
It was the Thunder song. He typically wears a light grey t-shirt, grey pants, and black shoes. While cooking and working at the restaurant, he wears a white apron. Originally, he was supposed to wear a wife beater, but this was changed, and thank God, because that would look ridiculous.
It did
Nobody
look
wants
ridiculous.
to see anybody in a wife beater.
But if you look at the drawing of it, it's really strange.
That would be really, you wouldn't want to go to a restaurant with a guy cooking behind him. Oh, wait, I've been there.
Just yesterday. Look, Bob has a tattoo of a caricature of his own nose and mustache on his lower back. He got it by force when...
How do you say that, Nicole?
Bronconius.
Bronconius.
The Equestral.
which is a fan club of men dedicated to...
The Equestronauts.
TV show. Attempts to tattoo a design of his face on a horse's butt instead of the official
Equestral.
tattoo Bob consented to.
So it's basically like, My Little Pony has
The bronies.
bronies.
Yeah.
This is the Bob's Burgers equivalent. It's the Equestronauts. I know, exactly.
It's a horrible name.
Yeah.
It is.
That's just like the fact that it sounds like we've edited that in.
See, this is just an example of Bob doing anything for his kids. He went undercover as an equestronaut to get a super rare thing for Tina, who loved the equestronaut dolls. Just saying.
Yes, that doll had a camel toe or something.
Yes! It was super rare. She was swindled out of it.
They're not super rare.
He was trying to get it back.
I've seen plenty of them in Florida this week.
Me too. Bob tries to balance out his restaurant life and his family life. The Belchers often struggle to make ends meet, but he still remains positive and a good role model to his children. Bob is a little introverted and repressed, but sensible. Bob is also rather patient, even though everyone and everything tries to test it, and is typically only uncivil towards those who go out of their way to demean or harass him, kind of like his rival and fellow restaurateur, Jimmy Pesto. His greatest fear is failure, and he also has a fear of pigeons.
Just like me.
Random. Bob's children seem to view him as somewhat of a buffoon, but they also care very deeply for him, especially his younger daughter, Louise. Louise loves to start rumors about her family and her dad's business, often getting him into trouble, such as bringing in one of her dad's burgers for show and tell and telling everyone it's made of human flesh, back to the cannibalism kind of aspect that they were originally going for. This rumor spreads through the town and reaches the health inspector, who temporarily shuts him down while investigating. His wife, Linda, is very supportive of Bob, helping him get through the tough times when he needs it the most. Now, just remember, the health inspector is Linda's ex-fiancé, Hugo. So he personally has it out for Bob because Bob basically stole Linda from Hugo. So it just is a whole mess of problems.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. Out of all of his children, Tina appears to be the most supportive of Bob, and they appear to be very close. Gene tends to annoy Bob with his sound effects from his megaphone, keyboard, and any other technological devices like his synthesizer.
Bob does not like his mother-in-law, Gloria, mostly her voice and the noises she makes. In one episode, he hides in a wall for 3 days to avoid her. Bob isn't fond of Linda's sister, Gail, either. Bob also has a cousin named Vanessa who's in a cult. It's not made clear whether she is a niece of his mother or his father. Bob and Linda's wedding anniversary is September 3rd, 1991, which is the same day Loren Bouchard and his wife's is.
Interesting.
Oh, suck up. Some Bob quick facts. Bob suffers from hemophobia and passes out at the sight of his own blood.
That was an awesome episode. Sorry.
Also, his blood doesn't clot easily, causing him to bleed more than normal. Bob potty trained all 3 children due to Linda's weak stomach. Most of his family and friends are convinced that his full name is Bob Burger. Bob doesn't like to sign the kids' birthday cards, so Linda's forges his signature. He watched Gene eat a fern, which I'm sorry, this is great. He watched Gene eat a fern when he was a baby and feared he would die. In the episode OT, the outside toilet, one of my great ones, when Bob walks into the kitchen wearing a suit, Louise jokingly calls him Don Draper. John Hamm, who plays Don Draper on Mad Men, voices the toilet in the episode.
Did you know that, Nicole?
I did not know that.
That episode is freaking hilarious.
It is funny.
Because it's like one of those crazy Japanese toilets that does all the things but tells jokes, and Gene sits there listening to jokes from the toilet.
Because that's his dream,
but
to
also,
have a best friend that's a toilet.
But then it's one of those things in class where Gene has to pick up the baby, and it's a bag of flour, and he keeps dropping them on the floor, so he has like a mental breakdown, and is upset, and he finds this talking toilet in the woods.
So he takes care of the toilet like it's his baby.
In an alternate reality, Bob is depicted as the alter ego of super spy Sterling Archer, a character from another animated TV show who is also voiced by, guess who?
Who?
H. John Benjamin.
Whoa.
In this alternate reality, Archer is suffering from amnesia, and he believes his name is Bob and becomes married to Linda and stepfather to Tina, Jean, and Louise. Oh. This canon in the Archer universe is not reflecting the relationship in Bob's Burgers series. So basically, it was
that's
just
actually how they started off the season.
Really?
That season was by going, and he had the mustache, everything, and all the people showed up, and it was like the whole Bob's Burger sequence.
I have not seen this. It must be newer Archer than the last.
It was probably 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, and that's about where I kind of finished off when.
I think it was the Archer Vice season.
I saw it, and it's funny to see Bob as like Archers, they look realistic.
Yeah.
And Bob is like realistic guy. He's like, looks like a normal guy.
And you're like,
not the drawing of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Linda Belcher is the happy-go-lucky, devoted wife of Bob and mother of Tina, Louise, and Jean. She is voiced by John Roberts. Linda supports her husband, Bob's dream, through thick and thin. She has enthusiasm for whatever he undertakes, from dinner theater to synchronized swimming and road rage. Linda is extremely outgoing, flamboyant, feminine, and is obsessed with the performing arts. She is also very extroverted and very talkative. She's prone to bursting into song. Kind of like somebody I know. Oh. Yeah, it's you, Nicole.
Me.
Oh, I thought it was James.
No.
James does sing a lot. He makes up his own parody songs.
I've never heard him do that.
Oh, live with him.
I've never heard him do that either.
I guess we have to live with James for a while.
And I've known him longer than both of you.
I love it. It's great because I wish I was that creative to just make up parody songs.
I have the Han Solo song whenever you want it.
I think I have heard that one.
No, it's not. No, you never heard the finished version of it.
Oh. She's always on the lookout for a surprise birthday party or unexpected anniversary present, and her faith in Bob is unwavering. She thinks of herself as an excellent hostess and gets mad when guests aren't willing to make small talk. Linda is a pushover and easily convinced by her kids to do all the work on their school projects. Louise, in particular, can manipulate Linda to do whatever she wants. Linda has an obsession with baby-related things such as porcelain baby dolls and miniature water bottles.
Yes, she does. Linda stands 5'10", so just around the same height as Bob, who's 6 foot, if you don't remember. She's often seen wearing a red long-sleeve shirt with a V-neck collar, as well as her iconic red glasses, blue jeans, and yellow shoes with socks, and a white apron covering most of her legs completes her outfit when she's working. Some quick Linda facts. Linda has a crush on Tom Selleck and wants her ashes thrown in his face. I mean,
Quick Chris facts. Me too.
Me too. All right. Yeah.
too.
I mean, because what's more romantic than throwing your ashes at Tom Selleck and having them caught all up in his mustache?
Is he going to be dressed like Magnum P.I.?
I don't know, but maybe that's why she's attracted to Bob, because he has a mustache like Tom Selleck's, like a big bushy mustache.
Makes sense.
She used to be engaged to Hugo, as we said, but broke it off after being unsatisfied with hanging out with him, and started seeing Bob after she accidentally got her engagement ring caught in his mustache. Aha! Her eyes don't close completely, and she might be an alcoholic, but more likely she just likes drinking. Like when she says, Mommy doesn't get drunk, she just has fun. Or when she is stuck on the island, she says, I only had half of 4 bottles of wine. You know, because that's 2 bottles of wine.
I get it now.
Get it? Yeah. I love Linda.
Wine math.
Now that she broke that down, I get it.
I don't get it.
Her favorite toilet is at the Royal Oyster Hotel.
Because
And
who doesn't have a favorite toilet?
George Costanza does. He goes into specific details of which is the best one in New York City.
He said, who doesn't?
Ooh, Seinfeld would be another good episode. Sorry, just throwing that out
I
there.
said who doesn't have a favorite toilet? Doesn't
I have a
everybody
favorite
have a favorite toilet?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Ooh, I might be able to pick one out if I had to.
See, I know I have mine. Yeah.
Linda got into the habit of peeing while standing up and likes it, but her worst fear is Jean turning into a wolf.
Which is every mother's fear for every child.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought I might turn into a wolf.
You want to hear about the rest of the kids? Well, you'll have to wait till part 2.
And then you also talking about things that maybe kids might do. I've been burping a lot during this whole thing.
Was it the beer?
The beer is gassy, but it's delicious, but gassy.
It's good. It's
I've really enjoyed it.
Well, segueing, bleh,
Jabba
segueing
jabba do.
into
Wow,
the beer.
I'm so glad all of us know how to speak tonight.
Yeah, well, that's why we get paid for this.
Exactly. So I would probably give this a 4.
Just because you're so gassy?
Just because of the gas, because I think I'm going to get full on it. That's the problem.
It's a Dunkel. You're supposed to. It's a heavier beer.
But like, I'd be like, couldn't 6 would just be like, I'd be like, maybe opera singing burps.
It's a Dunkel, but it says on the back, thank you for enjoying the world's #1 Hefeweizen. So, what is it?
That's a
I read that too. I didn't understand that.
It's because Erdinger is the brewery. All right, and this right here is a Dunkel.
But it
right?
says the #1
It says it's a way beer, but I don't find it to be a Hefeweizen.
I don't,
No, because the
think it's
Hefeweizen is
fruity
normally
enough.
white.
Right.
I don't like Hefeweizens, and I like this.
Yes,
I like
and I
this.
believe they're referring to the fact that they brew the world's #1 Hefeweizen
Got it.
overall.
Well, I rate this beer a 5.
Well, that's a big difference from the one you gave it earlier.
Yes, I was only joking. I would have rated it a 6. However, the Yeehaw Junction beats it.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw Junction
All right.
was really good.
I know.
That's
that was
from an
such-
earlier episode.
That was such a good find from me.
I know. We could only find it again.
Tennessee. Anyone going to Tennessee?
No.
I'd love to go to Tennessee. I'd love to go to Nashville. I got to get that on my list sometime soon.
Never been. But you know what? I would get this beer again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with Chris. I'm going 5.
I'd probably say a 4. It was pretty good. I don't know if I could drink 5, but I think 4 and 5 are pretty moderate scores. Pretty good. Yep.
Good job.
Do we want to read some emails really quick?
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to email us, you can email us at podcast42show@gmail.com.
Wait, can you say that again?
Podcast42show@gmail.com.
She remembered it this week.
I did. So we got an email from Ben Shreve. I think that's how you say the name. He asks, where is everyone on the show from? James, where are you from, I wonder?
Alabama.
I'm from the Upside Down.
I thought you were from... Oh, yeah. You're from Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm from Tennessee.
Yeehaw Junction. It's right next to Petticoat Junction.
You are not.
I am. I'm from wherever you want me to be from. I'm trans person.
Okay.
Transient.
Where were you born?
I was born in North London, in a town called Barnet.
See, was that so hard?
It
I don't
was.
think that's a
what
real
she
place.
said.
I'm from Columbus, Ohio originally, and moved to Florida about 25 years ago.
I was only just born. No, I moved here. I've been here for 8 years now. JL.
See, I'm from a little suburb outside of Canada called Buffalo, New York, and I've probably been here in Florida now. It's going to be 15 years now.
Oh, man.
I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and then I moved out to Long Island when I started high school. And I've been down here in Florida for about 6.5 years now. So.
Little known fact, nobody's born in Florida.
Nobody.
Apart from your son.
My son.
Yes,
My
well,
kids too. But,
Oh, yeah.
Your son.
but that's
That's it.
They won't
But
stay
they're going to
here.
move somewhere else.
yeah.
Yeah, they won't stay here.
They're not going to stay here.
There's 5 people who've been born in Florida.
And Chris is responsible for half of them.
4 of them.
I think I've met one person who's actually stayed in Florida their entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Screaming Buttons himself.
Yep.
Screaming Buttons.
Lord Screaming Button.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We also have Ashley McGregor emailed us and said she loved the Big Brother episodes and asked, are you guys going to do another one? My personal picks would be Elvis Presley, Beyonce, Julius Caesar, and Nicki Minaj. I think those would be excellent contenders in the Big Brother house. I wish he had given them scores so we could actually use them in an episode. And I'd love to do that again because I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, we'll do that again. But Julius Caesar, he can't be in the house. He's going to wear a toga the entire time.
Yeah.
Toga.
It's okay. Then everybody else will wear them.
But
and
maybe
they'll
we
get their token 6-pack or 1 bottle of wine for the entire house and get not at all drunk off of it.
Yeah, but what if they do the log thing and his toga blows up? We're going to see all of Julius Caesar.
And then he distracts whoever he's facing for the win.
I mean, at least he'll toss his own salad.
Very good.
And if you notice the statues back then, he probably doesn't have anything impressive under his toga.
You know, when I was in Italy, a lot of them didn't have anything impressive over there with
I
those
know.
statues.
They're all famous and they're all
The one,
Lots of nude
unimpressive.
statues over
one
there.
of them was just censored.
How do you censor a statue?
They put a sign in front of his pee-pee so you can't see it.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is, but I was just reading about that.
David?
What?
I think it might have been David. It might have been that.
What?
They've started to censor his penis, yes.
That's crazy.
You can't
That's-
censor stuff
you-
like that.
You can't. That's art. That's been there for how long? They're going to start censoring it?
Yeah,
Are
longer
people that
than any of us all
sensitive?
put
I hope
together.
it's a giant censor bar.
I hope it's an eggplant emoji.
I wish they would put boxer
the
briefs
poop
on them. that would be awesome.
Some holiday favorites.
Yeah, and
We
just
could do that.
they could have companies sponsor it.
Sponsored briefs.
So you could have like Disney sponsor it, and they could put Stitch boxer briefs on them one week.
Calvin Klein's could go on
Realize
there.
Yeah.
Hanes and Fruit of the Loom is jumping
Under
all over this
Armour.
right now.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. If you're going to censor, at least sell
Under
the
Armour.
space.
That's your name, right? Calvin Klein? It says so right on your underwear. What movie is that from?
Back to the Future.
Bob's
right.
Burgers. Well, where can you find us? So guess what?
What?
You can find us on iHeart now.
I heart you. No, I heart radio.
You can find us on the iHeart app.
Yes.
Just search for Podcast 42.
4-2.
And Stitcher. I like Stitcher. They've become good friends of mine.
Do you like Stitcher?
Yeah.
I never listened to anything on Stitcher.
And Spreaker.
And Spreaker.
Spreaker. Oh, yeah, definitely listen to us on Spreaker.
Yes.
That helps us out a lot.
It pays for mics.
We each got our first
Who's
pennies. I still have my shiny penny right here.
You need to
Look at
frame
it.
your first
I
penny.
do need 2017 penny too.
My recommendation is just get a podcast app
Like iHeart.
or Spreaker and listen to us there.
Yep. Sounds good.
And then join our Facebook group, the official Podcast 42 Facebook group. Lots of fun stuff going on there. And if you play Battlefront,
Come join me and Chris, and Faraz will make a guest appearance, and so will Keeley, and we will lose repeatedly, but it will be fun.
yes, you can join our Battlefront 2 group.
Yes.
Faraz probably doesn't know that we're we're primping that, but
he's fine. He just wants to talk to people on a regular basis. He just likes being social.
All right, so join us for Bob's Burgers Part 2, and I think we're out.
Bye.
I'm Christopher DeVos.
I'm James Duncan.
I'm Nicole Fasone.
And I'm JL Tros.
Bye.
You are no longer listening to Podcast 42. Bye-bye.
Some of the stuff you just heard might have been embellished, made up, or just plain incorrect. In other words, don't use this show to write a book report with. You will get a bad grade. Just like all the hosts.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Listen to the next show about Bob's Burger. If you listen to the show on Pod 42, you will notice that our host is a taffy butt, but she is a taffy butt. Taffy butt.
No reaction. No reaction.
Nothing.